Hey guys, I'm here with my man Max Lugavere. And Max, you were on the Rubin Report this week. You've been on many times before, but you're doing something very cool, so I wanted to grab you for a couple minutes. You are doing a movie that you are funding yourself. You're bringing crowdfunding, right?
Yeah,
Can we say crowdfunding?
Yeah.
We can
love
say
that.
crowdfunding, called Breadhead, which I'm going to let you talk about. But let's take a quick look at Breadhead, and then we'll get into it with Max.
Changes in the brain begin 30 years before the first symptom. So that's why I'm here shooting this video, asking you to co-create with me a documentary to take a journey to the cutting edge of neuroscience. Along the way, we're going to challenge some very commonly held assumptions that we make about what constitutes a healthy diet.
We know that whole grains are a key player in healthy eating.
6 to 11 servings per day is what we need, just like the gasoline for the human body.
All to figure out whether or not America's most feared disease is inevitable or avoidable based on choices that we make.
All right, so fill me in a little more on what Breadhead is all about.
Yeah, so about 3 years ago, my mom started showing signs of cognitive difficulty. And, she's currently 62 years old. 3 years ago, she was 59. And without sort of any prior family history of dementia, it literally, that moment when I sort of had to come to terms with the idea that something was going on with my mom's cognition, as somebody who's obsessed with science and health and nutrition, I mean, we've had so many of these conversations about, nutrition and science and whatnot. It sent me down the rabbit hole to try to figure out ways that I could not only help her and try to sort of come to some kind of understanding about what would lead a health conscious woman at 59 to start experiencing, signs of early memory loss, but then also how I might prevent it in myself. I mean, we're both creative guys, we use our minds as part of our profession. So the idea of like one day becoming demented to me is like an unfathomable fate. And so Breadhead really is like the manifestation of all of these findings. And really it's ultimately like my way of just sort of getting to talk to leaders in the field to really get answers on this epidemic.
Yeah, all right, so you chose the name Breadhead. So first off, we got to talk about bread for a second. Now we're in LA, everyone hates bread in LA, but I don't think it has anything to do with memory. That has to do probably with wanting six packs and stuff like that. But should people fear bread?
Well, I think the reason why we call the film Breadhead is because bread is the ultimate example, in my opinion, of a highly processed food masquerading as like a healthy dietary staple. I mean, when I think like healthy whole grains, which is what we've been told to believe is super healthy to consume in copious amounts, I think of a slice of whole wheat, bread as something that is good for you.
Whole wheat, it sounds good. Whole
100%.
wheat.
Yeah. But when you look closer, bread has a higher glycemic index than table sugar. So the glycemic index is a metric by which carbohydrates, it's the metric by which they're judged in how they affect your blood sugar. And so it would be very counterintuitive to believe that a slice of whole wheat bread affects your blood sugar more profoundly than crystalline table sugar, but it does. It's also America's #1 source of dietary sodium, which it was found to be in 2012 by the CDC. Dietary sodium, of course, many people can contribute to hypertension, which is a contributor to vascular dementia, which is the second most common form of dementia after Alzheimer's. And then it has gluten, which I know a lot of people are like scratching their heads wondering what gluten is, should they consume it if they're not celiac. But we're really at the sort of cutting edge of science now as it pertains to the interplay between our gut health and our brain health. And gluten definitely, in many people, has an impingement on gut health, which can have an implication on brain health as well.
Right. So I'm big on all this stuff, and every time I've had you on the show, I try to do stories on this, on diets and the types of food that we can eat that are proper, and just that we source food from thousands of miles away, and we don't eat local stuff, and then that hurts the economy. Like there's so much to this, and you're doing this for a very personal reason. So how is, how's your mom? Is that going to be part of this? Is that going to be sort of?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. When I first started, ideating over how I wanted Breadhead to look and feel, I was initially, I think, trying to like go a Super Size Me route, because obviously that's a film that I saw many years ago, and as a documentary filmmaker, I loved it. And obviously working in Hollywood, you're trained to sort of look for successful formulas, tweak them a little bit, and then call them your own. So I was like trying to come up with a gimmick, a way for me to sort of undergo a special diet and then measure my cognition. But people started listening to me, I felt like, the most when I would start talking about my own story. And the fact that this is all motivated by the fact that like my mom is actually going through this,
Right.
and I'm actually really looking for answers so that I can help her. And also, of course, because if I can take steps today to ensure that I will have a more optimal mind, then I'm going to take those steps. So that's when I realized that's what the story is, the breadhead story. It's me going on this journey to figure out the best way to live to minimize risk. For dementia.
Right. So I don't want to give away the whole thing now because we want this to be fully made and fully funded. But let's just talk a little bit more about the foods that you can eat that you believe or that the science proves is good for your cognition and to fight some of this stuff off. So coconut oil, which I talk about all the time, and I'm doing that grass-fed butter in my coffee, coconut oil, bulletproof
that recipe.
coffee thing, which I absolutely love. What are a couple other good foods if people want to sort of guard their brain health?
Great question. I mean, I'm a big fan of green tea. Green tea, at least in animals, has been shown to disrupt the major pathologies of Alzheimer's disease. It also boosts your working memory and has a potent nootropic, which is like a compound that affects brain function positively, called theanine, which promotes relaxation and stuff like that. So all around, I think green tea is an amazing thing to consume. Dark chocolate has been shown to be really good for brain health. The flavonols in dark chocolate can be very beneficial. I think it's also,
Avocado?
Yeah, avocado is
They say
great.
avocado,
Yeah,
right?
avocado is great. There was a study recently that showed that avocado had a really good effect on blood lipids, which is also important. So avocado is great. I mean, we have to remember that the brain is made of fat. So we've been told for decades to avoid fat and eat low fat, and that's like the key to health. But when you realize that the brain is 60% fat, and despite making up only 2 to 3% of your body's mass, sequesters 25% of your body's cholesterol. I mean, the fact that we've vilified fat and cholesterol, it doesn't take a neuroscientist to realize that potentially could have an impingement on brain health.
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing. So everyone is obsessed with fat, and they really don't understand that there are good fats, like you're getting in grass-fed butter and in coconut oil, which has a lot of calories, and people think that that's automatically bad, but actually, in this case, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend anybody that's really interested in this as it pertains, especially to weight loss, to check out the work of Gary Taubes, who wrote Good Calories, Bad Calories, Why People Get Fat. But coconut oil, I mean, it's amazing what the potential that coconut oil has in terms of being therapeutic for people with these sorts of diseases. They found, so coconut oil is very high in a medium chain triglyceride. That's a kind of fat that is found in abundance in coconut oil. And it sort of provides ketones to the brain, which are an alternate and cleaner burning fuel source to those brain cells that they've found to be deprived of glucose due to any multitude of factors, whether it's insulin resistance. So they've done studies where they've shown that people with higher levels of ketones brought into the body through the medium chain triglycerides have better levels of cognition. And that's something that you can get easily by consuming coconut oil.
Yeah.
Is coconut oil the thing that's being studied? No, because it's not something that can be patented, and so there's all these reasons why.
Right.
But I think that it's worth a shot for anybody for sure.
Yeah. So obviously your goal with this is that you want to have this made just so people can find out more, hopefully take some of the power back to themselves.
Yeah.
So tell the good people how they can help you fund this whole operation.
Yeah, so go to breadheadmovie.com. That's where that'll redirect to the crowdfunding campaign link. You can check out the full video. You can contribute. Definitely sharing it on Facebook, which drives a lot of traffic. I mean, that would be awesome. And continue to tweet out the link. We've had awesome traction so far, but we still have a really long way to go. So,
but you're pretty close.
You're
pretty close. So take a look, and thank you, Max. And
Thanks, Dave.
yeah, good luck. I think it's going to be great.
Thanks.